Last Friday, the psycho-spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, was in Ottawa. Now, he was there for the meeting of parliamentarians to discuss Tibet and its relationship with China. And while he was there, he met with a lot of his lunatic fans, the lunatics who think he's God, who support a man who believes that he is God. Now, while he was there, he met with parliamentarians from the Conservative Party, the NDP, the Liberal Party, various academics, and other experts on the situation between Tibet and China. Now, also during this time, for 20 minutes, the Dalai Lama met with Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper behind closed doors, and nobody really knows what was actually talked about. But we're pretty sure he's just begging for more money for his illegitimate government in exile. Now, the Chinese embassy is really not happy with this visit, as one can probably imagine, seeing as how he is, well, in my opinion, a promoter of terrorism, getting people to set themselves on fire because he's not in power anymore, after several hundred years of rule being overthrown by his own people for being a corrupt, brutal dictator. Now, also, while he was here, the current head of the government in exile, Lobsang Sangyi, spoke on CBC discussing various matters as they relate to Tibet and how they are looking to cultivate a closer relationship with Canada to promote Tibetan independence, even though it's actually an autonomous region. And while Stephen Harper trying to balance that with his new relationship with China, being that China is now a major player in Canadian business, with their new large business connections that are of great importance to our actual economy. This usually does make for a somewhat strained relationship with the Dalai Lama, seeing as that the Canadian government does in fact recognize China as the government of Tibet. Even though actually Tibet is an autonomous region within China, of which it works in cooperation with the Chinese government, the same way it's worked for hundreds of years through all the Chinese emperors, and the same with the Nationalist Party before the Communist Revolution. Now, while the Dalai Lama was here, Stephen Harper was happy to remind us that in 2006, the Dalai Lama became an honorary Canadian citizen. Of course, I object to this. Currently, right now, we are discussing Omar Khadr, the Canadian that's returning home from Guantanamo Bay, where he was detained illegally, given a trial, and was tortured. Now, the public is speculating on what should be done. Should he be charged with treason? And the Conservative Party is looking to take away his Canadian citizenship. On the one hand, we have Omar Khadr, a child soldier who was, against his will, forced to be a soldier for the Taliban, against his will, to commit acts of violence. And he's supposed to lose his citizenship. On the other hand, we have the Dalai Lama, a religious nutbag who thinks he's God and has people walking around thinking he is God, and is encouraging people to go around setting themselves on fire so he can return to his former kingdom. Kind of seems strange to me how a child soldier needs to be punished, but a lunatic who thinks they're God needs to be rewarded. Very strange, and a very sad symptom of this conservative government. Now, while he was here discussing the situation with Tibet, with parliamentarians and academics and whatnot, the real purpose for his visit, and what was most likely actually going on behind those closed doors, was the Dalai Lama begging for money from the Canadian government to help pay for his lifestyle, which actually is fairly expensive, and to help pay for his government in exile. Personally, I'd like to see the Dalai Lama leave this country very quickly and never come back.